Hi, it's Eldon here with another episode of Crazy Dad's Garage, and we're going to do another installment on the Crazy Dad Camaro today. We're going to be working on this window and window regulator on the driver's door because we've got a big problem here. The window doesn't close for one thing, but when you look at it, this window, the glass on it moves about 3 or 4 inches. That's a pretty good indication that that regulator is broken down inside the door there, and so we're going to work on putting a new one in there today and see how far we get. We got a new one here from Rock Auto Parts, and hopefully we got the right one. A window regulator replacement is pretty straightforward. You got to use some care getting the door panel off so you don't break anything there. And these in particular, as I was at the wrecking yard the other day, I noticed that all the regulators on these Camaros and Firebirds, the mounting plate is riveted into the fiberglass door, and so we're going to have to be careful getting those out so we don't mess up the fiberglass, and we'll have to grind off those rivets, and probably what I've done in the past is replace them with nuts and bolts. We'll see if that's feasible on this. If it's not, we'll have to get some big rivets and put in there. But we're going to dive into this now, one step at a time. I'll get this regulator, the new one, unboxed, and we'll take a look at that and see what we've got there. In fact, let's just do that. Well, I can't do that here on my video. I'm not smart enough to know how to turn the camera around without starting a new video. So what I'll do is I'll pause this and we'll start another chunk of the video with the camera pointed in the right direction. See, you might be a crazy dad, you might be able to work on cars, but maybe you're not a tech guy. And that's me. Alright, so we'll get around to that and see what we got going on here. Here we are. This is our, we bought some Rock Auto Parts. Let's get her open here and see what we have to work with here. Especially the thing I'm most curious about is to see if they sent new hardware with this because of that rivet situation. I doubt it. That's not normally the case, but who knows? It might be. Might work out all right that way. So, never did quite see all the what was so cool about all the unboxing videos. Oh, they always send you this cool little magnet sticker. Got to put that on my toolbox up here. So there we go. And but I noticed there's unboxing videos all over the internet, so it must be something magical about unboxing something. I'm not particularly that guy, but we'll figure it out. Okay, here's our box with the regulator in it. There we go. Aha! We do have a package of rivets that come with it. So I'll have to make sure that my rivet gun will fit those, or else we'll have to figure out another way to do that. But this is basically what your electric window regulator looks like. So you got the crank mechanism here, and all these gears and lever arms and springs and things are the mechanism that raises it up and down. And if it was a crank up window somewhere in here, you'd actually have a handle on a knob. But since this is electric, you've got electric motor here, and I think the wires plug in the end of it over there like that. So that's what we're looking at. I believe that's the right one. We'll get the door panel torn off here and go back to looking at seeing what we've got. In fact, let's just flip around here and take a look at the door panel and kind of walk through this process. So as we do this, we're going to have to go in there. There's a screw back in here. There is, and notice we've got a broken panel here. And when I was looking at these at the junkyard, it seems like there's supposed to be another screw up under here to take them apart. And they come apart and kind of slide off of everything. Oh, I got it just like that. So there's bye-bye to my broken one. We've got all our switches and things right here, which looks like they will just slide back out of the hole as we take the door panel off. So we've probably got, yes we do, down here under the handle we have a great big screw that goes into the door panel there, and that's to make something that's strong enough so you can pull the door shut when you do. Then down inside of here there will be 2 screws, of which we're missing one, so we'll probably have to find that. It looks to me like that's all the screws that we have on this door panel. So outside of that, once we get these 2 out of here, then what we're really going to do is get something under the corner here and start working the thing loose and popping the clips. So there's probably some plastic clips in there like that that allow that thing to pop loose. And so we'll do that. We'll get those popped out, and then normally that door panel lifts up so that it disengages from the rail of the door up here on top. And we'll do that. We may end up having to take this little plastic piece off here so that this part will come up and clear it. But we'll move along. I'll take it apart to that point, get ready to lift that door panel off, and then we'll let you know what's going on. I always forget and get ahead of myself here, but I've got this panel loose. All those screws that I indicated had to come out, and now what you do literally on this one is you grab the door panel and you push up, and it disengages from all of the hooks that are there. See in the back of the panel here, it has hooks that actually go into these holes and slide down and hook on those holes like that. And looks like I've got a problem in that all the bottom ones are broken off of this one, so we'll have to see if I can come up with some kind of compromise, if I can make that work one way or the other. But here we go. Alright, I'm gonna look around a little bit here before I get too in depth. So we do have some rivets here that are holding that window mechanism in. I suspect I've got some broken ones in a place or two. Anyway, we're going to take a look at that. These bolts right here, this one's in a slotted hole, so these may have some adjustment, maybe something we end up taking loose, I'm not sure. So just some different pieces there that we'll have to look at and see what we've got going on. And hopefully it doesn't go any deeper than this. Managed to get my window regulator out of there, and it was a huge hassle. So first I ground my rivets off, and you got to be careful here not to grind too deep because you go right through this fiberglass right there. So I got 2 of them. I had 2 that were broken there and there, and so just had to grind off these 2 here. I also had a small bracket that was right here on the inside of the door, and I had to take it off to release one of the rollers right there on the window regulator to allow things to move around. So I pulled it off and got it sitting separate here. Also, there was another bracket that sat right there that had a nut down here at the bottom and 2 bigger ones up here at the top, and I took it off to get it out of the way, and partly because I've got another problem here. This deal right here is a roller that is supposed to slide up and down on that window, and because it broke off of the window itself, the window was no longer held in place to this track, and so I'm not sure if I can fix that. I don't know. I may end up having to go get another window at a wrecking yard to be able to solve this thing. So now I've got my window sitting, my glass sitting down in there. I've got the regulator out, and because of this problem in that track, I need to get that glass out and see if there's anything to do with it or if I need to get another one. And to do that, I've tried pulling it out the top and it doesn't want to come, so I'm taking this screw off right here, which is going to allow me to get this rubber trim piece out of the way. I think it's just in some clips or something on the rest of it there. If I get it out of the way, then I can pull that glass up and out the top of the door. So that's my game plan right now. We'll see how that works. We've got that window all out of there now, and in order to do so, I had to take the mirror off of here, plus the mirror mounting. It had 2 bolts here and another one down under here, and those came out the top. And then I took this rubber strip off along the top edge here. It just came out because it's clipped into these holes here. After I took a screw out down here, then that all came loose, and then I was able to get the window to work up and out of the door right there. So what I've discovered here, I think I'm going to need a new window, not because the glass is bad, but because there's a roller that goes here that's put on a rivet or something that comes up through that hole, and that is a guide that guides it up and down the track, and that's what was allowing it to flop back and forth. Plus, where this thing right here is some kind of a guide, and it has this pin on it here. There's a second one over here, right there, and that pin is broken off of it. And I don't know how critical it is, but I'm thinking that this roller is going to be the defining thing that makes me get a new track or a new piece of glass here. So I'm going to look in the wrecking yard, see if I can find one of those. I've come across 2 or 3 other small pieces here that I need to do. It would actually be really nice if I could find a better door panel, but I don't know. We'll look around and see. So I'll put those things on my list, and we'll move through. So that's going to bring us to a standstill tonight. Hopefully we get those parts and get ourselves put back together here.